Hello, this is Timothy from MasterStack, and this is a phrase review that comes after I've tried Frase and after our preview, which came out a couple days ago. I've had time to use it myself, try how it works, see if it's aligned with what we were expecting, and if there is something that we like or we don't like. You can watch our previous video if you want to see what we thought in detail, but we're gonna recap it very quickly. This is our page, our article that we prepared. So Frase is a tool that allows us to have a very fast research for content writing. So that's its use. It's gonna help you research quality content much faster so that you can see what others do and write. Also, it will help your SEO check so that you can make sure that your content is as good as your competition or better. The price is very good because there is, with only 2 stacks, you have unlimited documents per month. So we were very impressed. There is also the freebie of the answer engine. That's a different chatbot tool that's included, but only for 100 answers per month. So I'm not even gonna use it, not right now. It's something that's there and you can try it out, but I don't think it's the main important thing we get out of this deal. So we're gonna look at content and this area here, not answers, but you can also do that. It's part of the deal. Now, content. You can write documents. You can import documents if you want to check your SEO against your competition for that keyword. So let's do something from scratch. Let's start with the concept map. So let's see. If I wanted to write about newsletter, that's my topic. So this is what I get, newsletter. And so I get a definition of newsletter from the wiki, which I can click here and read. And here are the related topics by area. So promotion, spamming, direct marketing, digital marketing, email, all of that. And I can choose one of those, and that's what's inside the category. That's just something random here. And I will get the map from marketing communications and to all these areas. So I can just find what I can go in depth, to look at my topic and see what I want to write about. Then let's say I choose something. I could just create a brief for marketing communications, but that's too general for me. I don't know what my audience is looking for. So I could just do it here. And let's write newsletter here and see what people look for. And we have found 58 questions, and they range from how newsletter help, how newsletter information, how to create newsletter, why newsletter. So these are the questions people are actually asking. Can a newsletter be a blog? So we can find here something that we might want to look for. But maybe it's too generic. How to create a newsletter. Look for that. They look for the reason. So if you don't have an article on why you would want to create a newsletter, maybe that's something you can do if you want to write about this topic. So let's say, why create a newsletter? I can either save for later, or I can just go into it now. So why create a newsletter? It's create new content. See, you could import your post if you want to optimize for SEO, but let's do this. And you can also search for top Google, which is what we were seeing, or results from a specific domain. So if I want to check things from, let's say, Frase itself, I might have a difficult time if I look at top Google results. So maybe I want to specify Phrase's own domain if I want to get information. Okay, let's do this. And this is when it starts. So we have already started our research. We want to write about newsletter. We have seen what people ask. We've seen what people search and the most common questions asked. And now that we know what we're writing about, we have to look for content. So we have to search Google normally or other websites and see what's being written, how it's being written, what are the most valid points. And then after the research, we can prepare all of that into our own article or send to our writer. And this is what, way before I was done speaking, Frase already created us our content brief. So you can see the topics. What is the purpose? What is, and all of that. This is a topic, a newsletter. Another topic, email newsletter, which is a different keyword. Social media. So these are the topics that are used in the top search for this query. And then you also have the questions. Who should start, how to create, and how to make. And the solutions. So you can have content tools and tools promotion, everything from that range. And you can see all of that neatly stacked here. These are all pieces. Then you have summaries, which is the summary for each article. You can see the outline for each heading, the topics treated for each of those top 20s, the topics. And this is where you check your SEO, because if you see the word newsletter is mentioned 28 times per source, this is how why create a newsletter, how this is being dissected in keywords in all of those sources. And you would want to have something like the average score of your competition or even more. So you should be careful and insert these keywords. And that's how you can check your SEO against your competition for this particular query. So you have the questions as well, which get answered. So you can see here all things and you can just paste them here. Although this is useful if you want to have somebody write the content for you. Otherwise, this is not how you should write an article. But at the same time, you can easily write your article here. You can put newsletter and it will, it's 2 times now. Of course, if you just write these keywords and don't give any meaning, your quality will be abysmal and you will not get a good article. But this is useful to know what a good article is considered like by Google. And you can see what's important to talk about. And then you can write your own content. And so Frase basically does the research and the preparation work for you to allow you to write good content. If you don't write good content, Frase will not save you. But if you do, if you know how to write, it will save you a lot of time. I've created I've tried it already on one article. It's about 1,000 words and it took me less than 40 minutes to prepare. And I just needed 5-10 minutes then to prepare the screenshots that Frase obviously doesn't prepare for you. But it was a great experience and it's the fastest I've ever wrote an article. So I liked it. And this is how it happens. So you can just write your content here and then check against the topics. You don't have to check them all because your article might be going a different direction, but you can just use this to know what to talk about and to what you should write. And then you're done. Then you just copy this content, paste it to WordPress or whatever you use. And that's it. Even the headings, all of the structure is kept and you don't really need to do much afterwards. And this is how Frase mostly works. Now, there is only one more thing to check, which is the Google traffic part. For the Google Search Console integration, I cannot really show the websites I have with good traffic because they're not mine. We have to look for their own documentation so I can show you examples. But I've checked them on my own websites and it really works that way. So it's really a great addition if you want to optimize your content further. Now, how does it work? You just have to connect with your Google Search Console. And that means that you can, any website you have access to within one Google account, you can check on Frase. So it means you should aggregate your Google Search Console under one account, which you probably should already, unless you want to log into multiple Google accounts every time. So I'm guessing you have all of that already into one account. So you can integrate that to Frase and you can choose your website from here and you can check what people look for when they get into your website. And after that, you can click here and it will expand on that research, those questions that were asked by your visitors, and it will tell you if you have content for that and you're good. And if you don't, you can create your own content. So it tells you, let's say you have an e-commerce and people come to your websites for some reason looking for chairs, but you don't have a chairs category. So these people are gonna bounce off because they're not finding what they're looking for, even though somehow they get to your website. So what you should do is to create, if possible, that content. So those people looking for that will find it in your website and you have a new visitor, maybe a new subscriber to your newsletter, a new buyer, whatever. In order to retain the people, you obviously have to give the answer to the questions they ask. And with Google Search Console, you can see if their questions are being answered properly or if you need to prepare the right content for them. And that's really another plus that you have. Sometimes you don't even have to look at other websites to find the content you need to write about. You can just look at your own and see where you're weak, where your weakness lies, so you can fix that. So that's it on how to use Frase, I suppose. We've seen how it works. We've seen how to create a document and all of the possibilities that Frase allows you. And I have to say, I think this is going to be my go-to software to write content for websites or things like that. I have not checked how it works for other languages, but I assume the software itself and everything related to their AI does not work in other languages. But the Google Traffic Console, that I am sure it does, because I already have some websites in other languages and have checked that. It does tell you which questions are being asked, because that's not something they do anyway. They just get the data from Google itself. So there is nothing done on their part that they have to do in order to give you the answer. So I would say if you don't write in English, it doesn't seem like you can have full access to everything. But that being said, if you don't write in English, you might often enough look for answers in English, look for content in English, and then you translate that. So I would still find a lot of use for it, and I still plan on using it on other websites, not just English ones. And so it might not appear as straightforward, but it's still plenty useful to find content, to find your research, and to get ideas on what to write about. So in the end, did Frase meet our expectations, which were very high to begin with, considering what we've seen? Yes, I would say this is a great software to get at their price point. So obviously it's even more convenient to get at AppSumo's deal price. I'm probably going to keep on using it because I really liked how I wrote that one article with it, and I'm going to write a lot more with it. So I would suggest if you do write a lot of content that's aimed to answer questions, you give this a try. I hope you like this video and this little demo of how I understand to use the Frase. And I'm not sure I get everything, but this is just my impression, like how I've seen the software. I hope you liked it. And if you did, you're welcome to subscribe so you can see whenever I make new videos, and see you next one. Bye-bye.